Having just completed a number of major story beats in this game, I think it's time that we take a little bit of a break and do some other stuff for a while. At the end of the last video, I said that we are going to take care of all of the remaining tall necks. So we've done 2 up to this point, and there's only 3 more to go. So we're gonna take care of them.
I'll tuck that away.
Even though the last couple of story missions have had us going to pretty much all points on the map anyway, it helps to have these last bits uncovered because there are certain things that are a little bit tougher to find if you don't have them uncovered on the map.
Another signal.
So we're in the jungles to the south of Meridian.
That must be the tall neck sending the signal.
And there is a tall neck that is just circling one of the mesas down here, so we're gonna have to go take care of that. But there are a number of machines that are just in the surrounding area, so we want to be pretty careful because if we have to wait for the tall neck to come around, we could have like 1 to 2 minutes of pure combat with machines before we get the chance to leave them behind. Up on this ridge, there are about 2 or 3 long legs. And thankfully we do have the cauldron that lets us override them, so all we have to do is find one ally, and that'll pretty much distract everything else.
Now they're hunting me. I should be able to jump onto the tall neck from here.
Yeah, so if we can just sort of distract all the other machines and stay by this ledge, we can jump onto the tall neck, no problem. All we can really do at this point is wait. So the tall neck appears to be pretty close based on those sounds, so we're just gonna let
Just need to get on the tall neck's head.
our long leg friend take care of everything else. Well, it looks like we're not being targeted right now, but all our buddy has to do is just one attack. Come on.
Alright. Now I just have to reach its head.
I'm pretty sure our machine friend can handle it, so we're just gonna go. And Aloy's gonna freak out here a little bit, trying to find the right place to stand to override this tall neck.
Good. Got the data.
So that's one down. Let's check out what part of the map gets unlocked. So it looks like there's a cauldron and a hunting grounds in this area. So we'll be back at some point in the future to take care of those. But this is everything that we came here for, so we're gonna head off to the next tall neck. So now we find ourselves in the deserts to the north and west, sort of Meridian. About, I'd say, halfway between Meridian and Sunfall, and a bit on the way from Meridian to Maker's End.
Another signal.
But we're still pretty much out in the middle of nowhere up here.
That tall neck must be the one sending the signal.
So last time we got the help of a long leg, so I think this time we're gonna get the help of a Ravager. I think we're just gonna leave those two to duke it out. We can't see him anymore, but based on those health bars, I think our friend is winning. But there's the tall neck out in the distance. Unfortunately, there are a ton of machines in the surrounding areas, so we're gonna have to come up with some sort of plan to take care of them all. Or at least take care of enough of them.
I need to find a way up to the tall neck's head.
So it wouldn't hurt to get the help of another Ravager.
Scrappers, looking for metal.
On the way over here, I heard a long leg. There are watchers pretty much everywhere around here, and also a bellowback or two. So we're gonna need the help. So we're gonna leave our Ravager friend behind to be a big distraction as we sort of try to stealth our way up there. Our destination is right up there where that watcher is, so all we need to do is find a way up there. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of tall grass, so it's gonna get a little tricky. And it looks like we have a text log hiding up here. We're not going to read that just yet because we are dangerously close to being spotted. Unfortunately, we have yet to complete the cauldron to take care of these guys and override them, so I really don't want to start a fight with one of these. And if he turns around and so much as nudges me with his tail or something, that's going to alert him right away.
Calm, calm.
So I am desperately throwing a rock there to try to get him to leave. So he's not going after the rock, but oh no.
Machine saw me.
Well, the machine saw me, but I'm pretty sure he got distracted by our Ravager friend. At least I hope that's what happened. So we're just gonna make a break for it because our tall neck is almost here.
I think I can leap onto the tall neck from here.
Looks like our Ravager buddy is still going strong.
Made it. Now to climb up to its head.
But unfortunately, we do have to get to the top of this thing. Well, we can't see health bars anymore, so I hope our buddy's doing okay. That's another tall neck down, and another portion of the map revealed. So it looks like aside from Sunfall, there's really only one other settlement in the middle of all of this desert. And it's a little tough to see, but I think that was our Ravager friend. He may have just despawned, so I'm not sure if he's still our friend over there. I'm gonna go check it out anyway. I'm curious to see if a machine will despawn and then no longer be friendly. But it looks like something happened to this long leg over here. So at least there's that. Well, nope, that's a hostile machine. I am pretty sure all of these guys, since no one is fighting anymore, are hostile again, so I think that did it for our friend. Yep, there's no friendly machines over here anymore. Yeah, and that's just a watcher, so well, that stinks. But we've just got one tall neck to go, and it's gonna be something.
Another signal.
So now we're pretty much due east of where the last tall neck was. I mean, we're east by a lot, but
The signal is coming from that tall neck.
we're sort of almost due north and a little bit to the east of Meridian.
I have to climb up to the tall neck's head.
The only difference with this tall neck is that it's got different enemies around it. Oh good, it looks like the Eclipse are here, and they brought a Corruptor.
Eclipse. What are they doing here?
So you can try to stealth this, and I'm certain it's very possible, but I may have already messed this up. But let's see how much easier taking on a Corruptor is, one-on-one. Especially when it can't really navigate over here. So now if we knock a couple more arrows, we can pretty much instantly take care of one. Now granted, it was long range and not really moving, but
Looks like they're trying to capture another tall neck.
that was still a lot easier than I think it's ever been. So we're gonna skip the stealth portion of the combat and me kind of running around, because there are a ton of weapons around here, and a few of them are dropped by the heavies. If I can just take this guy out. So there are a ton of Deathbringer guns around here, and it is incredibly advantageous to have one. Because it's pretty much just one shot will kill any of the Eclipse around here, and this thing has tremendous range. So there's only 2 Eclipse left, and one of them, the one on the left, you can see with the yellow icon, he's really far away, so we're going to test out the range on this thing and see just how far we can shoot. Yeah, that thing is... well, it's called a Deathbringer for a reason, so that thing is pretty deadly. So we're just going to skip some looting and me missing the opportunity to get on this tall neck.
This should be a good spot for jumping onto the tall neck.
Because it's a good, like, 2-minute wait for this thing to circle completely around.
Okay, time to climb up to its head.
So thankfully this time there's no machines or anything shooting at us while we try to climb this. And it is 100% possible to just ignore all the eclipse, run right past them, and climb the tall neck. They'll try to shoot at you, but they probably won't hit you. So, with the last tall neck completed, we now have access to see the entire map. Just as soon as it loads in. So there is a lot of empty space in this section of the map, but it's still got a lot in it. So, with our last tall night completed, I think we're gonna head off and do something else. But first, let's take a real good look at the entire map that we have access to. When you look at all those campfires and machine locations, it gets pretty cluttered, so let's clear some of the unnecessary stuff off of here. You can see just how many campfires there are in the game. It's quite a bit. So I made a quick little pit stop in Meridian, and then you can see that all the way up here is Maker's End. And then immediately after that, we went all the way across the map to the Grave Horde, and that's also where the new DLC connects to. And then after that, we went all the way down here. It's not marked on the map because there's no settlement here, at least not anymore, but this is where we encountered Hades. And next up, for the story at least, is going to Sunfall, which is all the way over here. So we traverse a lot of the map for this section. This whole section down here with the white parts, really just indicating snow, is Nora territory, and up here is the new DLC territory with its own tall neck, so we'll be getting to that eventually. But I figure we haven't really done a hunting grounds in quite a while, so let's get one of those out of the way.
By the sun, are you Nora? I've never seen one at a hunting grounds before, or at the Hunter's Lodge. How interesting.
What do you do here?
This is a place to test yourself against a herd of machines in the stamina trials. Think you can handle it?
I know I can.
Excellent. I like your spirit.
You're awfully friendly.
Well, you know, it gets lonely in the wilds after a few weeks. Terribly lonely, in fact.
What about your friend over there?
Oh, he doesn't count. Barely ever opens his mouth, and when he does, nothing interesting comes out.
Who are you? Why are you here?
Well, I'm a hunter, of course, and a member of the Hunter's Lodge. But I don't mind being out here. At least no one complains about my clothes, or my manners, or my personality. Don't let him in, he'll drive people off with his incessant chattering. Or, he stinks of fish again. That sort of thing. I don't stink of fish, do I?
No, it's more like wet fur.
Well, that's something.
What is the Hunter's Lodge?
A place in Meridian where hunters gather, socialize, and brag a lot. Me, I just love hunting machines. You've already won 3 half-suns, so you're eligible to enter the lodge yourself.
What are the trials?
The Hunter's Lodge makes sure hunting grounds around the world offer hunters a place to train. The trials here focus on the most important part of hunting, keeping your stamina up. Hunting isn't a sprint, it's a gauntlet.
So all you offer is training?
And a herd of machines. Plus, I'm allowed to award marks. Half sun, full sun, and blazing sun, if you do well. Which trial looks interesting to you? I'll tell you how it's done. The remains of Watchers rest on 3 rises. Loot all of them before time runs out, and you pass. It sounds simple, but watch out for all the other machines down there. Good choice. Slide down a rope and I'll start timing.
So a lot of these trials have less to do with hunting machines so much as it is just sort of doing kind of random tasks. For this one, we have to loot 3 Watcher corpses in about 90 seconds, which doesn't really seem like it's going to be that bad, especially since there are 5 we can choose from. And the first 2 that I pick, anyway, are relatively uneventful. But it's the third one where they try to trick you. So all of these Watcher corpses, except for the one, are up on these little pillars. The last one is directly in the middle of the entire place.
They know I'm here now.
So we do have to race Glinthawks, as our objective says, and it looks like one is already at the next corpse. So this is where it gets a little tricky. What these Glinthawks are going to try to do at this last corpse is pick it up and actually just take it. So we need to make sure that can't happen. Thankfully, I was quick enough to loot it before it was even picked up, but most of the time you have to shoot one of them down. Fire ammo works really good, especially with my upgraded hunter bow, which just has like a bunch of fire modifications on it. So only one shot would disable them. Otherwise, it gets a little tricky, especially because that time limit makes it very tough. If you miss even one of them, you are going to cut it very close. These Glinthawks are super mad that I just stole their stuff, and they're not actually going to leave me alone until I start this conversation.
You won a blazing sun on your first attempt? Congratulations! In this trial, you must tie down a trampler and shoot off the component under its belly. I'll start timing once you slide down the rope.
So for this trial, we need to use the rope caster to tie down a trampler and then shoot out the glowing yellow component that you see right there. The thing is, if you start shooting out the component, it will get out of the ropes, and if it gets out of the ropes too quickly, you have to tie it down again. So for this, we're gonna make it a little bit easier to shoot out that stomach component.
Gotcha now.
So if you freeze a trampler, just like any machine, it takes a lot more damage. So for my sharp shot bow, if I just knock a second arrow and shoot out the stomach, that immediately takes care of it. You have to be careful here as there are only 3 tramplers in the entire arena, so you can fail this if you don't do it correctly. And I'm also using the most basic rope caster, which ties down machines for a lot less time, and also takes a lot more shots before any machines can be tied down properly. So I would recommend buying the 2nd or 3rd tier rope casters, as that will help a ton. But with the sling and using those ice bombs, we made this a lot easier than it normally is. Especially as those tramplers start, well, trampling a lot. A lot on you, a lot.
You won a blazing sun on your first attempt? Congratulations! Now's your chance to show you can snare Glinthawks. Lure them close to you, then tie them down in time to pass this test. Good. Now slide down a rope to get started. Go, go, go!
This is probably the trickiest trial at this hunting grounds. And after a couple of false starts, we're actually just gonna go right ahead to the successful one. So, like that guy said, we have to lure them close, because the rope caster has a very, very limited range. I would recommend actually shooting down Glinthawks and then hitting them with a rope caster, because it still counts.
Gotcha.
Now you have to be very patient here, because even after a Glinthawk gets disabled, the actual prompt doesn't come up for quite some time. I would recommend staying up on this bridge, because then the tramplers can't get you as easily. They're actually the ones that were causing me some trouble the previous couple attempts. So for this trial, it just says to do 3 critical strikes, so you can actually, if you don't kill the Glinthawk first, you can just do all 3 critical strikes to the same Glinthawk. So it looks like I've angered at least 4 Glinthawks in the area, so we have about 40 seconds left to do this, which shouldn't be too bad. It's all of this damn frost everywhere that's actually creating quite a problem. So now we just wait a little bit, and there we go.
It's too weak.
So that's 3 of the 5 hunting grounds done, and the last 2 are definitely the hardest. But it looks like the Glinthawks are mad again.
I'll save the
And I
shit.
can't actually hit anything up here because the trial is still technically active.
You won a blazing sun on your first attempt? Congratulations!
I have to get going.
You know where to find me.
I don't think we need to come back, as friendly as you might be. I think we're gonna get going, actually. Yeah, you just stay here with your non-talkative friend, and don't worry about me.
I thought they'd go on forever.
You and me both.